Elegant and talented Shilpa Reddy is quite the maverick in the world of fashion. She has come a long way from being a model to leading the models with her creation and being a very well-known socialite in Hyderabad. She has a rich design background, a fashion graduate from the Academy of Design, Toronto. She has competed in the popular Glad Rags Mrs. India contest in 2004 and won the coveted title. A very good evening and a hearty welcome to our special guest today, none other than holistic and sustainable lifestyle influencer Shilpa Reddy. Hello to all our viewers here, and without taking much of your time, let's hear from the expert herself. Sustainability, as we all know, has become a mega trend and a business imperative. Sustainability does not only mean conservation of environment and resources, it's something that each of us need to do for ourselves and the planet Earth. As you have been an influencer in terms of sustainable fashion and living, we would love to hear from you the way forward into sustainable fashion.
So, first of all, I think there are too many questions packed in one question. I will address one at a time. The
Sure.
first one, you said sustainability is a trend. It is not a
Yes,
trend, it is the need of the hour. Only because we have forgotten to conduct all our activities in the sustainable way, which is supposed to be that way. Life is to sustain. Our actions have to be sustainable. Since we've not been doing all of that in the past few decades, now we are talking about sustainability because that's the only way it will work. Only if
yes,
things that we do are in sync with, repetitive nature without stopping ever is sustainability, right? Since we didn't do
yes,
all of that in the last few decades, now we are, jumping around and saying, let's live a sustainable life. So
absolutely.
sustainability is not a trend, it is the need of the hour. And we Indians always knew sustainability. If you see everything that we did, the way we cooked, the way we did agriculture, the way we wore clothes, the way we treated ailments, everything was sustainable. The way we ate, the way we, drank, the way we consumed water, everything was sustainable. So sustainability is something that is not new to us, especially, a country like ours. It's just up
Yes,
till my grandmother's generation also, we did everything sustainably. It's only in the last 20, 30 decades did we, kind of in the name of comforts and conveniences, we jumped that wagon and started doing things not knowing if we can really sustain this pattern.
agreed.
Now, because we have done all of that and the damage and the manifestations of what we have done in the past are happening and we can see the repercussions, now we are buckling up. Okay. So if
Agreed.
we go back to how we were living, I'm not saying 100%, it can never happen because the changing times, we have to change the way we consume, the way we travel, the way we do multiple things. Since that cannot happen,
Hmm,
whatever we do has to at least have a sustainable pattern, even if you're an individual. See, now the time is up, meaning everybody doing things sustainably would have worked 2 decades from now. But now
agreed.
you planting 10 trees, I am planting 10 trees, my neighbor is planting 10 trees is not going to save the world. We have crossed that, threshold. So now
Yes,
I personally feel you have to do all of that because unless you do it yourself, you will not know the importance and the gratification you feel when you live a sustainable life. That you have to
agreed.
do on a personal level. I'm not, saying not to do it, but it will not impact or it will not change the climate with just those little 1, 2, 3 plants that you, plant.
Absolutely.
So the change has to be on a larger scale. So what I'm trying to say here is when we are talking about change which can impact on a global level, we as communities, we as states, we as nations have to come together. In a democratic country, we have a voice that we can, use and we can tell our leadership, our authorities. It can start from your own communities. It doesn't have to go to national level as yet. You have to all come together and try to have an impact on community level, state level, national level, global level. For that, we'll have
Okay.
to speak up. We will have to request our politicians or leaders in authority to make policies and make it mandate and implement it with strict laws and rules.
Yes.
But again, that
That's
doesn't
absolutely
happen. But that doesn't happen until you do it yourself at your home. So it starts from there, and it can go
correct.
up to that level.
Correct.
And about fashion, I don't know if you are aware that from this March 31st, I'm not operating Shilpa Reddy Studio as a commercial organization anymore.
Okay.
But the designer in me will never die. Since
Okay.
clothes were a way of expression, it kind of gave me a creative output through clothes. I did that. But we can always change how you did things. So when I was a designer,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing like how any other designer do, using synthetics, chiffons, georgettes that come from China and all of that. Only a few years back did I realize what damage is fashion industry doing. Though my brand is not a fast fashion brand, though it's a slow,
Okay.
slow fashion, still
Okay.
I felt why am I using fabrics that are coming all the way from China that
Okay.
are not sustainable, that don't get decomposed when it's buried in the soil. It's not even from this region. So I switched my business
Yes.
model to becoming more sustainable using cottons, handlooms, chanderi,
Wow.
silk blends. But
That's
again,
amazing.
thank you. But again, after that, I noticed the pattern. I felt that I was selling more than what people needed in their
Okay.
clothes. It is said that all of us now have clothes almost 8 to 10 times than what our parents and grandparents owned at one time. So we are
Okay.
over consuming. So
Yes.
fashion was not resonating with my philosophy, the kind of things I was doing, the kind of changes I was making at home. It was not resonating. Hence, I had to say goodbye to fashion, which I've done it for almost 12 years. I studied fashion. I dreamt about being a designer from when I was 16. It was a
Okay.
bittersweet moment to say goodbye to fashion. But having said that, when you see the kind of stuff that is happening around, your heart doesn't feel, it doesn't give you good vibes or it doesn't make you feel right. I mean, it doesn't resonate. It just, your conscience doesn't permit. So I said goodbye. But again, this is something I'm wearing, which is Mangalgiri cotton. This is a simple salwar set, the weaver sell with a bottom, with a kurta and a dupatta. My idea of fashion now has become to use all our traditional weaves, our traditional fabrics, and turn them into fashionable
Oh,
silhouettes. So if you see, I don't know if I just want to see, so it's like uh, a nice lapel collar, which any young person also would want to aspire to wear because it's cut beautifully. The fabric is the most comfortable. It's handmade, and you're actually adding to the economy of your own country, your own weavers. You are giving them some kind of benefit by using them and not letting the art die. So that is my journey. And sustainable fashion means do not buy clothes from fast fashion. Make sure you buy clothes that have a long life period, or buy staples that can be mixed and matched with other things. So you can make multiple looks from what you already have. So that is about sustaining fashion.
I mean, I'm just awed if I have to tell you. I mean, it's so brilliant. And this thought of yours and, coming out of what you were doing because you had a larger passion and I think that was your calling. So,
Yes.
you realized it and I'm so glad that, see, there are a lot of people who keep telling, but, it does not match. So,
uh,
when it
okay.
comes to people like you, and I'm sure that is why we all follow your work because we want to learn from you that,
Thank you.
the path that you are following, and even if 1% now that you said about clothes, all that
Hmm.
I could get in my thoughts is, why not? Why not me? Why cannot I do this? And now, from the next step
Absolutely.
on, when I purchase my clothes, this point is going to be in my mind.
And also, I want to add one thing, like even the fabrics that India produce or producing are
Hmm,
all well thought of to suit the
exactly.
tropical climates that we live in. Suddenly you
Absolutely
put, like the fabric which doesn't let your skin breathe, and you're sitting in this hot tropical climate, your body
correct.
temperature is going up. Your,
Correct.
especially kids, they say do not put children under 10 years in any synthetic fabric because they're growing. They might end up having skin allergies because this unbreathable synthetic fabric is sitting on them and they're playing all the time. The temperature
Right.
is rising more than what it should be rising. So it
Right.
is health hazardous too. So it's not just about saying no to imported foreign products or nothing of that sort. It's also common sense to understand what is a fabric which is more suitable if you're living in a country like India.
Agreed, agreed. And like it's a better late than never. I think the
Yeah.
better, the sooner we realize this, it's going to benefit us. And if you can also think in the larger terms, it's going to benefit your family, your environment, your
Your
country,
society, your
and yes,
country, your,
yes,
yeah,
the
absolutely. Now we
benefits
should
are all.
start thinking not now. Now I think time has come not to just think about you and your family. You have to
Yes,
spread your wings to at least your colony, community, and then if you have the
definitely.
capacity to spread more, yes, you can spread more.
Definitely, definitely. Such a wonderful thought, Shilpa. I'm like
Yeah.
really amazed by it, and such beautifully you've put it. Thank you so much for sharing this, and I'm sure you are inspiring our viewers as well.
Thank you.
So, going to the question, I would like to ask you how important it is for the present generation to
Hmm.
follow a sustainable living, just as you said, and
Hmm.
how can we spread awareness on the repercussions of unmindful living? On our daily activities, there are a lot of things that
Absolutely.
we could avoid doing, and at the
Absolutely.
larger part, we could, benefit the entire surrounding, our own health, our own family's health. So, what do you think of unmindful living, and what do you think the present generation needs to do for a sustainable living?
So, first, let's look at what the 17 Sustainable Development Goals are. I mean, to just get an idea as to what all we are facing and what all needs to be corrected and made sustainable.
Correct.
The one thing I want to confess here is for all the damage the last 2 to 3 generations have done, we are asking the younger current generation to bear the brunt of the mistakes we have done in the last few years. Having
Right.
said that, I will not blame you and me also because the way the industry, the way businesses have progressed, they were not approached looking at a long term sustainability. They
Mm.
were approached in a very keyhole kind of approach, only seeing what is going to come in the next 5 years. We did not think about the garbage or the what we're creating in the name of industry, how we are ripping the planet apart, and the products that we are making, are they compostable, not compostable? If not compostable, how should they be disposed? Nothing of that has been thought. Also because there was no awareness and nobody to check upon such things. Now
Correct.
because the internet, now because people are speaking about it, even we got to know, like just as I just mentioned, as a designer, Shilpa Reddy 12 years back, she didn't know anything about what she was doing. She was just doing it as a
Correct.
passion. We all
Correct.
aspire, we all want to reach our goals, accomplish. But if somebody is told as to what is the cost of your accomplishment, maybe every human being with humanity within us will immediately think of alternative ways of conducting the same business a little more
Agree.
gentler, a little more consciously, a little more responsibly, and also take responsibility of the uh, of how the business is going to impact on the society. So now that I have got the awareness, I've made so many changes. So it's all about creating awareness among the youth. It is very important that these kind of things have to come into curriculum. I've seen a lot of schools, international schools doing this, but
Mm.
this is something every human being should be taught at a very young age to respect resources of our planet, how much to consume, minimum consumption, and that is very important because it is said that
Correct.
if we consume the way we are consuming right now, we
Mm-hmm.
need 3.5 planets. Do we have three
My
and a half
God.
planets? So
No.
this has to stop somewhere. You have to wake up and take responsibility. And one more thing I want to tell young entrepreneurs is whatever business you start, I know we all have aspirations. Humans cannot be stopped of their
Correct.
aspirations. We want to, accomplish something more and more and more. We cannot put a barricade on that. But how we do
True.
it, we can always find alternatives. We can always be a little more responsible in doing the way we are doing things.
Of
So, young
course.
entrepreneurs, I want to, emphasize there is a huge market. I'm saying market because we cannot not talk economics because the whole world is driven by economics. We can't say, oh, we don't want profit, we just want to do a small business. It doesn't work like that. It's not the
True.
age to even say such things. But invest in enterprises that are planet friendly, enterprises finding alternatives for things that we're using right now, which are harmful to the planet, because there's a huge market. In fact,
Hmm.
Sustain Cart also happened that way, trying to help people find alternatives to stuff we are already using that are
Okay.
planet friendly, sustainable, and which doesn't, which helps you to go forward in that aspect.
Agreed. Completely agreed. And I'm sure that the point that you mentioned for the young entrepreneurs, at overall it is a responsibility of ourselves as an individual and also
Mhm.
for the society and for the future living. So
Absolutely.
definitely, I think this is the way forward. So moving ahead, Shilpa is also as an influential socialite and someone who's synonymous with social issues, facilitating dialogue and debate on critical issues of women empowerment, child safety, and education. She's someone who is actively associated and has been a featured speaker at many reputed social forums. So Shilpa, one thing that I feel that it is important to align economy and ecology, as you were
That's right.
saying now, on how entrepreneurs can take a responsible action. So, what
Right.
is your take on responsible actions from individual point of view and an organization's point of view?
So, from the time we wake up to the time we sleep, if you want to make change, there can be a change made in every action that we perform. Starting from finding an alternative for a plastic toothbrush, could be a bamboo toothbrush. Bamboo
Yes,
again is a plant which grows really fast, so you're not like we can still be sustainable using a bamboo toothbrush. Using your own bottle on an individual level, I'm saying zillions of things, like using uh, skincare or nutritional products that are natural, which are locally produced, trying to use your own cloth bags when you go to a supermarket, never to use plastic cups or like paper cups. Instead, try to have a tumbler or something in your car or on your in your handbag, and just make that little effort to carry that one water bottle, because we knew we did that just few years back. We did that. So it's not
yes,
that big a deal to go back for the larger good, like especially if you have children. Like as a mother, it is heart wrenching to see what life my child would have 20, 30 years down the road. I'm also a part of, actively a part of Save Soil movement by
yes.
Conscious Planet, and it is predicted that food shortages will happen in the next few years, and 40% food shortages can happen. Thinking of the world trying to just get basic necessities like food is very scary for a mother, or generally also. This is not the kind of world we should leave for the future generations. So, on an
Definitely.
individual level, definitely plant a tree. Do not make sure you are responsible how you discard your garbage. Make sure you
Correct.
separate your garbage. That is the biggest thing. The number of hectares land is used for landfills is unbelievable, and the kind of people who are working there, and the number of it's apparently. I mean, this is out of context, but still, now that we're talking about landfills, I'm saying every day, 60 kgs of plastic is consumed by animals, not knowing, because they want the food inside the plastic bags and they end up eating the plastic bags. And I have a dear friend who is into animal welfare, and she said like she pulled out some tens and tens of kgs of plastic from a cow's stomach, and it estimated every day 60 to 70 kgs of plastic is consumed by animals in the urban areas. You're not even talking about the aquatic life. It is said that by 2028 or something, there'll be more plastic in the oceans than there would be fish. So, with such a big brain, with such an evolved, we call ourselves evolved human beings. With such intelligence, what are we doing to the planet? So, this has to trickle down into every person's mind and take responsible of their actions. Again, on leadership level, political parties and people in authorities must make this a mandate and strictly implement, whether it's no single-use plastic or no chopping trees for such certain widenings or planting as many trees or removing, stuff like that. Strict laws for forests. All of that is very, very important on that level. Again, as I said, entrepreneurs, they see this actually the question you asked pretty much I covered in the other questions.
Yes,
Ecology
yes,
and economy have to go in hand in hand. This has been, you cannot change this because it's an engine. Economy is an engine that is
yes,
driving our world. We cannot
correct.
stop doing business. We cannot stop entrepreneurs from starting new businesses or startups. But how we do it is all very, very important. And what we invest our energies in, and even innovations. What kind of innovations are you creating? Like, are the innovations going to sustain and not rip the planet apart in the long run? Or is it going to only benefit you and your company to make money? So it has to be inclusive. All the entrepreneurs should have a inclusive mentality of including the well-being of the society and making them a part of what you're doing as your business.
Agreed, agreed. And, although I'm saddened by the statistics that you had told about, how our, silly intentions, I mean, our efforts are, really not reaching because our behavior is very responsible and damaging not only our surrounding environment, but the animals and the marine life. We can just imagine how bad the
Mm,
situation is. So I
absolutely.
just of us, do our little bit, and definitely the world is going to become a better place if we do our bit and be responsible
Absolutely.
towards our actions. That is what I feel. In fact, while you were stating this, I was reminded of, last week when I was visiting the beach and when I was just seeing
Mm,
people, irresponsibly just throwing away things. And I was just telling my parents, if each of us have this responsible action of not throwing
mm.
anything, not littering, how beautiful things would be. You
Right.
need not employ thousands of people working there, cleaning our rubbish and,
Exactly.
doing so much. If we, as an individual are responsible, it's going to make a vast difference. How I keep sharing it to people also that please do your part. It's not that difficult to carry that bottle in your car. So that
Absolutely.
is what
And
I would
also, when
really
you can take a plastic bag to a picnic spot, why can't you bring it back? As
exactly.
simple as that, right?
Yeah, and it's so simple, but I don't know. That's just irresponsibility that is there in our mind, and just throw it away. So that has to change.
Irresponsibilities, sometimes it is a responsibility, but I think majority is ignorance. They really
Correct,
don't
correct,
know the repercussions. Now that even if I have to
correct.
throw one plastic bag into a dustbin, I'm thinking like, will this be eaten by a cow? Will this be, like gone into an
Exactly.
ocean and get stuck in some turtle's nose? So every
Correct,
time you throw something, if you dump something in the trash, if you can just
correct.
pause for a minute and think
Same.
what this would do,
Mm.
where it would go,
Yes.
automatically you will start finding alternatives and doing less of that.
I think that deep should be the thought, and that is how we will be responsible for our own actions. And it's so
Absolutely.
wonderful to hear from you, and I'm sure this will go a long way, and we would definitely do our bit and again spread this word across to be responsible for our own actions.
Absolutely.
So, as in the beginning I said, I can go on and on speaking Shilpa and the various organizations that she is a part of and her initiatives. I can go on and on, but briefly, I would like to mention here that she is the brand ambassador of Roshni and an organization, the patron of Teach for Change, to name a few. She's also the brand ambassador of Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs, where she was invited to speak for women entrepreneurship counseling and handholding to enhance their skills. So, moving on, one of the 17 SDG goals is gender equality. You have been a voice for women empowerment and other related topics. So, can you throw some light on what needs to be done to give better quality education and work opportunities for women?
So, being in a city, talking about women, like you and me are urban women, and we have a problem. Meaning, what I'm trying to say here is we are very small in number. When you see the number of women in the country, urban women population is a very small percentage, and 80% of women are from rural India.
Right.
So just this 20% is maybe we are making a hoo-ha about no equal pay, no equal opportunities, breaking the glass ceilings. That's all great, but we are only talking about a very small sector, like percentage of women. When we talk about gender equality, to me, what occurs is we are in a great space. If you see, I mean, if I see, if you see, your mother's generation, your aunts, your mother, and grandmother, don't you have more cousins of your age working in this generation than in, when you compare to your parents and aunts? I
Yes,
mean, yeah.
yes, yes, definitely.
So there is a change. There is a positive change that is happening in urban areas, definitely. And these kind of changes, societal changes, where there's mental conditioning involved, there's where there is societal norms involved, change doesn't happen overnight. It
Correct.
is happening. Urban cities are, doing a great job when it comes to, if you see, even in Sustain Card, most of them are women. In my studio, most of, I mean, actually, all are women. And few
Hmm.
brands that we acquired, majority of them are involving women as their employees. So urban cities are doing good. But rural India is where the gender equality has to happen. That will happen only when there is skill development programs for rural women who
Correct.
do not have education, who do not have a skill to fall back on. And also, like, the very few menial jobs that they can do, cleaning up or cooking, that's something that they learn when they're growing up. So the most important thing to avoid, to give them better conditions to work and employ them is skill development. Skill
Correct.
development has to happen for grown-up women in the rural India, and quality education has to happen for the younger generation.
Hmm.
So only when you do this will the villagers will stay in villages, not want to migrate to cities. That's what is happening when you do not have livelihood that you can make in a village. Like millions and millions are migrating to urban areas trying to find jobs,
Hmm.
right? So that shouldn't happen. They should stay where they are, but they should stay where they are with great opportunities. That will happen only by this. And having said that, as women, all of us have to break certain barriers. Only then, see, even if people are saying, like questioning you, criticizing you, or trolling you, whatever it is, deep down, if you feel your conscience is clean and you are doing things for the larger, betterment and breaking few boundaries that the society wants you to be in between, that path that you open up will be a pathway for millions of women to follow. This is
Absolutely.
because this was not intentional, but then my life started only after I got married. My title happened after I got married. My modeling, my Kingfisher calendar, my designing career, like number of things I did, all happened after marriage. And I never lost interest in not to look glamorous or not to look a certain way because I'm married, because I'm mother. That doesn't have any relevance to your marital status. So
Exactly.
when I didn't do it consciously, I just did it because I also had great support from family, and it didn't occur to me that I have to change if I got married or became a mother, all of that. But the
Hmm.
number of emails and messages I get from women saying that I come from an educated family, but my parents are asking me not to work after marriage. after looking at you, I know that life can happen after marriage. I'm like, people, women at one point, I mean, 2 decades back or 1 decade back, they thought if you're married, that's it, your life is over. So
Yes.
that changed, like not just me, like many like me who broke a certain societal boundaries have set and opened a path for millions of the other women to follow. So that one change that you would make can benefit many women to follow the path. So as an urban woman, you should do that. If it's for rural women, I think we need skill development programs and great education so that they can find better jobs and come out of poverty and not end up doing menial jobs, for generations to come.
Agreed. I could relate to every point that you had made, and how urban women can, lead a path. I mean, it's like a journey that people would love to follow. And
Mm,
I myself have also heard this a lot of times. Why not this? Why not that?
right.
People, and I'm sure there are hundreds of people who are following your work, and if not completely, but then they would definitely having their thoughts that if she could also, do after her wedding, why not me? There is
Yes.
life after
Yeah.
marriage, because that is the message that you have showed, and you have proved it. That is what
Mm,
is important, and definitely that is the
absolutely.
reason people look up to you, and young people like me. You are an inspiration for people
Oh,
like
thank you.
us. And, def-
So basically, you have to be the
exactly.
black sheep in your family,
Yes, yes, agreed. I
but
absolutely
with a
agree.
sense of responsibility, not recklessness.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very true.
Okay.
And no wonder, you are an icon for women empowerment,
Oh
and
God,
uh,
don't use words like that.
you are, and I should mention about this. And I would also like to mention here that, Shilpa is also extensively known for her writing style, which is evident at the numerous health and fitness columns. So,
Oh,
definitely. And I myself have read it on your website. So I must say that
oh,
they are pretty interesting, and again, getting motivation, and it is also empowering individuals, and I just hope that this
thank you.
message of yours goes to a very large audience and impacts the lives of people. So
Thank
moving
you.
on.
So many kind words all at once. Thank you.
No, no, definitely, definitely. It had to, because I keeping the time in view. I'm not able to tell so much that
Yeah,
you've achieved, and of course, not only with your work, but your life as a person is definitely something that people need to learn. Also, lead a life, a dignified life, and something that you're contributing to the world as well. So,
so I'm not a success, but I just want to make it very clear. Maybe you like the work I do, but I was not a successful model. I was not a successful designer. I mean, I was a good designer, but not a successful like designer, like who started, like stores everywhere. And no, for me, I feel success failure is just a part and parcel of game. But how did you enjoy the process? That
exactly,
is that was always very important, and your actions, how responsible were they? And
exactly.
no matter how much you learn, you will know nothing in the universe. Can you talk about everything on the planet? No, you only
No.
know a small percentage. So that has to humble a person, and always want to, like once you say I'm successful, then that is the end of it. Like, you can't go further.
Oh,
So I
yes.
personally feel everybody should enjoy the process, feel, gratifying, find gratifying work, and have a clear
Yes.
conscience of not hurting anybody or hurting things around. We still hurt. I mean, not that I'm saying we don't, but at least consciously. If you do
Consciously.
that, I think you are a success that way.
Oh, absolutely. I was just coming to the next question of, if you could share one or two thoughts for all of us here, and
Mm,
if you could share something that we can also, although there are a lot of takeaways, just as you had mentioned about not hurting others, that's a very
mm.
important point, and a very brilliant point that you've made, I should say. So what would be your message to all of us here?
So kindness can be practiced. I tell this to my son. In fact, I said this to my son this morning. It is not what you say, it is how you say matters the most. It's not about the context. It is definitely about the context, but then if you want things to be done, or if you want love and support of others, there is a way to speak. There has to be empathy, there has to be kindness, and kindness can be practiced. That's a human trait. It's just that we have forgotten, and the kindness have to start from home, with your with your loved ones. Like scream at them, shout at them, and you think you have a right to do that, but that's wrong. In fact, the kindness should start from home, and
Oh,
it'll extend to people outside. Then it'll not be a pretense. Sometimes it happens
correct.
like you're trying to be nice to people outside and come back home and like blurt it out in front of your family. That is a pretense. That's why it's you want to vent out at home. If you practice kindness as a way of life, that is one of the most beautiful human trait that can be taken outside without pretense, and it doesn't tax you too much. That's one thing. The second one is I've been propagating, living my life, and I've been saying this for so many years: health, mental, and physical. Trust me, if you take care of your health, physical health, and mental health, half or more than half the problems you think you have will look like frivolous and minuscule problems. Once you have a energetic body and a positive mind, whatever comes to you, it looks like, okay, I can handle this, big deal. Or else it can become a mountain. A mole can become a mountain, they say. That's because you're not mentally fit to stop your
Yes,
thought, give it not give it too much importance, where it will snowball into something and becomes like a big mountain sitting on your head. So physical and mental fitness, if you make them top priority, I'm telling you, even if you don't get promotion or bonus, it will not be a big deal. It's not a big deal. You're alive, you're vibrant, you are so energetic. You can play with your child, you can play with your dog, you can do multiples in a day, multiple things in a day. That vibrancy of life makes everything look very small. So people should have priorities in the right place. Prioritize health. I don't have time is a lamest excuse I've heard. I know you have time for YouTube, Netflix, and like all these so many things. People just wail off time. Like half an hour can go by just like that if you're just scrolling in on your phone. So I
correct.
don't have time is a lamest excuse for your own well-being, not for somebody else or not for your neighbor.
Exactly.
So invest time in your mental health and physical health. Mental health by a little bit of pranayam, breathing exercise, chanting. We have immense knowledge in
Yes.
India, to kind of get into such things. In fact, we have a treasure of talent and wisdom that we can, take from our own country. So my request is to prioritize health, mental health, physical health, then half your battles are won.
Agreed completely. Just to brief the 2 points that you said, that, make kindness your habit, and it should be a virtue, and definitely it has to. And I think, things would definitely fall in place. And the second is investing time in your physical and mental health is wealth, and it is all your mindset, and it is all how you prioritize for your own well-being, just as you said. So thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Shilpa. It was a great conversation, I must say, and one of the best conversations that
Thank
I've
you.
ever had. Thank you so much for being with us, and we are really humbled, and it's very kind of you to join with us today, share your story. And if I do not know about the other audience, but then I have a lot of takeaways from you, and in a
Thank you.
gist, what are the takeaways that I will, definitely take from this. So thank you so much, and
Pleasure is
inspiring me.
mine as well. Thank you so much for finding
Thank you
value in
so
what I
much.
spoke. That's all I, wish to do. All the best to you too.
Oh, thanks, Shilpa. Have a good day.
Bye.